Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's Sunday, November 22nd. This is Ben Capozzi with Broad Shoulders Farm in Sutherland, Virginia, Zone 7. And I had a moment and I thought a thing that I could share right now is a little bit about what I mean when I was talking about how I plan on managing the black locust trees that I'm planting, or that I have planted, as part of our bee forage, and also in order to produce like a green manure that I can use to feed to the other plants. So I'll flip the camera around and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So just to refresh your memory, right now I'm in the I'm looking at the May and September paddock for our rotational program for our egg-laying chickens. And this row right here, not perhaps very easy to see, but I know it's there. But a few months ago, I dug up a bunch of suckers from a black locust tree, and I transplanted them. So the top of this is pretty dry and dead, but I've checked these, and as you get further down, they're still green. In fact, one of the ones all the way at the end, and I think the next one in from that, have both actually put out they put out new leaves, but we had like a 27-degree night last week, so I'm pretty sure those leaves have fallen off, but who knows? I mean, today it was like 70, yesterday it was 70, so we'll see. But anyhow, so I've planted these alternating black locust with an American persimmon, another black locust, an American persimmon, and then another black locust, and then I think from there it alternates with hazelnuts. So hazelnut black locust, hazelnut black locust. But you know, you may look at this and be like, well, you can't put black locust trees in here, you know, that's not going to work, you've already got all these other trees. And that is correct, but what I want to do with the black locust trees is a technique called pollarding or pollarding, and I think it's a European technique. I don't know a whole lot about the history of it, but I do know that it is a very old technique, and it's been used to manage forests and firewood and timber plots. Well, not timber, I guess mostly firewood plots in Europe. So let me take you up to a spot up here and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Okay, so here I am in the April and December chicken paddock. It's part of our rotational grazing program. I know it's November and the birds are in here, but this is my first year getting this thing worked out, so give me a little bit of a break. But here is an example of an unintentional pollard or pollard. So if you are out with your mower or a bush hog and you go over a small tree down at the base and then it puts up suckers, you're familiar with that process. Different trees do that better than others. They'll send up additional shoots, and black locust is one that does it really well. And when you cut it all the way down at ground level, my understanding is that's when it's called coppicing. And when you do it higher up, that's when it's called pollarding. And I think usually trees are pollarded either like at breast height or even higher. I think it may have evolved as a way to get tree growth up above deer brows. I'm not really sure. But it's definitely worth looking into if you're interested in this technique. But this is an unintentional pollard here. This is this whole patch here. I'm going to say it was overgrown, and of course right now it looks pretty bad, but trust me, the chickens have knocked down most of the stickweed. They've cleared out almost all the bramble. There's a little bit of honeysuckle left, but we've really cleared this up quite a bit from this fallen apple tree that is still alive and still produces apples. But I'm pretty sure this is a walnut, maybe. I guess I could smell, it smells a little walnutty, so or maybe a hickory or a pecan or something. But anyhow, I cut this down 2 years ago. I cut it here with my saw just to kind of start to get some clearance in here, just to start to get a handle on this big tangle of stuff, and then I left it alone. So that was either late 2018 or it might have even been early to mid 2019, but I didn't come back and think about it. Okay, but what has happened in the time since then is that just 1, 2, there's a little one here, 3, a little one here. All this new growth has sprouted from here, and there's even these guys down here. Now, this is what I'm essentially going to be doing with the black locust trees, but I'm actually going to manage it and pay attention to it. And so, whereas this one you saw, it just had all these little extra shoots off here, and I just pulled them off. You could come here and take all of them off, except for maybe this one and this one, so that you have the whole root system of this tree that was, I don't know, this thing was maybe 12, 15 feet tall. Look at it, it's about, let's say 4 inches in diameter. So it's got to have a pretty good root system on it. So with all the top of the tree gone, the tree then spends the rest of the time trying to regrow a central leader. And by managing those central leaders, you can get different, I guess, products out of the regrowth, depending on what you're after. So in Europe, my understanding again is that this could be used to get firewood out of. You let it go for not 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 4 years or 5 years, depending on the species. And eventually you get, you know, regrowth that is, you know, as big as that. Of course, that will grow as well, but as big as the trunk, but you'll get really good firewood size pieces, you know, depending on what you're after. You can also do this in order to get multiple shoots coming off of the top and then get fodder for different animals. I think this is a technique that can be used for working with goats and sheep. You could get pole wood if you're interested in, you know, using something for, you know, your garden, making structures and such, and you don't have bamboo available. That is essentially that technique. And different trees respond better or worse to it. I think conifers, except for a few, it'll pretty much kill them, but I know that that's not entirely true, because there's actually a pretty famous Christmas tree farm up in the New England states that has been managing their Christmas trees this way, and they've been harvesting trees for like 60 years from the same stumps. I think with the conifers they call it stump culture. You know, some things, again, it will kill them, but some things respond really well. My understanding is that chestnuts respond really well to this technique. I don't think that means that you get your crop of chestnuts, but I'm not certain about that. You might want to look into that. Black locust responds very well to this. I think poplar responds well to this. Maybe even Osage orange. But you know, your mileage may vary, and you know, you may want to do more research. But in terms of what I'm doing to manage a lot of black locust trees and get lots and lots of leaves, and to get all that extra bee forage without the tree getting out of control. So my plan is, you know, I will coppice them. That's probably not a bad height for what I'm going to do. I may do them like 4, maybe 3.5, 4 feet up or so, and then figure out 1 or 2 different shoots that I want to grow, maybe 3 or 4 even, and let them go. And I'll probably do this on some sort of 3 to 5 year rotation, depending on how much wood I want to get out. I'm thinking that the extra product that I'll get, in addition to the bee forage from all the black locust leaves, which, by the way, bees love black locust flowers, and people do too. They're actually quite delicious. I will want to get some firewood and some pole wood. Black locust is an extremely durable wood. It does not rot easily or quickly. You can look into it. There's lots of different stories about making fence posts that, you know, last a lifetime or half a lifetime or so using black locust. But it is a very durable wood. It produces, if you want to burn it, it does produce excellent BTUs. I think it's in the top 10 in terms of BTUs per, I don't know if that's foot or square inch or what, but I've seen some charts. I think Osage orange is maybe number 1 and black locust is like 3 or 4, but anyhow, it's excellent. It's just a neat way to manage it. So this is how I'm going to have an entire perimeter of black locust trees without having a perimeter of black locust trees. And now let me flip the camera around real quick, and I'll conclude with a story about black locust that really made an impression on me. All right, so talking about managing black locust, I did 2 weeks of an agroforestry workshop with Steve Gabriel up in the Finger Lakes region of New York, 2015, 2016 maybe. It was an absolutely amazing experience. It was wonderful. I'm sure with the pandemic right now, Steve's not doing any more in-person workshops, but when he resumes that, and I think his farm is, gosh, Spring Forest Farm. Well, anyhow, he's written an amazing book on farming the woods, so you can check it out and you can find him online. But this amazing 2-week workshop on permaculture and agroforestry up in the Finger Lakes region. And one of the farms that we visited to see kind of these techniques in use, the gentleman's name was Steve, I don't know, and I probably can't figure it out ever because I lost the notebook. After our house fire, I lost the notebook that I took all those notes in, and it kind of breaks my heart to think about that. But the point is, he showed us a plot of black locust trees that he manages. And he talked about the way the whole thing started is that it really just kind of got out of control. I think maybe there was something had happened, and one year he didn't actually get to bush hog a field that he had, or maybe 2 years. There was something that went on and he didn't get to manage it. And by the time he was able to go back and take a look at it and start thinking about it, he realized that because black locust grows so quickly that they were almost kind of like almost polewood size. So he decided to let them go. And from that came a system where my understanding is that he harvests them maybe every 7 years, that acre or so of land that he has where he let the black locust trees take over. And he was saying that he has a team, they're Amish or Mennonite, or they're folks who have a mobile sawmill. They come and they just harvest all that, and they run out the boards right there, and some is fit for polewood and some is fit for boards. But, you know, again, this was, well, 4 to 5 years ago now, but Steve was saying that I think like polewood, just like, you know, cut it down and like sell it, you know, for someone who wants to set up something like, you know, in their garden to make like a teepee for their squash or whatever. I think they was going for maybe like $1 a foot or something. And then the stuff that was actually large enough that they could run it through the sawmill and turn it into boards. At the time, I swear the number that I have in my head that he said was like $3 a board foot for black locust boards. And, you know, obviously if you're interested in something like that, you should check that out yourself. But the point is that I think Steve said that it wound up being like a $3,000 to $5,000 source of income for him that really requires no maintenance from him. No maintenance, no inputs. He just goes and harvests it every 7 years. And I thought that was a really cool thing about black locusts. And ever since then, I've been kind of interested in them. And now here that I'm at the farm, I actually have an opportunity to work with them. And they're a big part of my bee-friendly pollination plan here at the farm. And so that's how I plan to work with them. And one other thing that I didn't mention earlier is that, you know, some trees, of course, when you coppice them or pollard them, they'll sucker. They'll send out, you know, like runners a little farther away from the main trunk, and they'll start popping up here and there. Black locusts do that a lot, so you just need to make sure that you have a management plan for that. You saw I've got all my black locust trees in a nice row, and I want them to kind of stay in that row. So I know that part of my management will be making sure that I keep the lanes around that area clear so that I don't get just a tangle of black locust trees. So anyhow, that's what I've got to say about pollarding. I hope you found that interesting. As always, questions, concerns, comments, helpful critique are welcome. Wherever you are, I hope that you are staying safe and well, and please continue to do so. And if I don't talk to you before Thanksgiving, have an awesome Thanksgiving. Have a safe Thanksgiving. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.